Okay, here's one of the biggest mistakes I see home service businesses make with LSA. They look at one number and judge the whole campaign from that. Cost per lead. And I get it, okay? It's easy to see, it's simple, it feels like the number that tells you whether things are working or not. But the problem is cost per lead can lie to you. Not because the number is fake, but because it does not tell you what happened after the lead came in. It does not tell you if the call was answered. It does not tell you if the customer booked. It does not tell you if that lead actually became revenue. So in this video, I want to show you the number I'd rather look at before judging if LSA is actually working. This is the first thing to understand. A lead is not a booked job. The phone ringing is not the finish line. A message coming in is not the finish line. That is just the start of the opportunity. The real question is what happens next. Did someone answer? Did they sound helpful? Did they ask the right questions? Did they book the customer? Did someone follow up when the customer didn't answer? Because a lead that comes in and never becomes a job is not really a win. It's just a cost that didn't turn into anything. This is the conversation I see all the time. A business owner says, we paid $80 per lead, or we paid $120 per lead. And that's where the analysis stops. But that's not enough, because the next question should be, okay, how many of those leads actually became booked jobs? That is the part that tells you what is really happening. Because paying $80 for a lead that never books might be worse than paying $120 for a lead that turns into a profitable job. So the lead price matters, but it's not the whole story. The number I would rather track is cost per booked job. That gets you closer to the real business outcome. Because now we're not just asking how much did it cost to get someone to call, we're asking how much did it cost to actually book work. And for a home service business, that is a much better question. Because the goal is not leads sitting in a dashboard. The goal is booked jobs on the calendar. And that is where the money is. So let's keep the math simple. You got 10 leads. Each lead costs $100. So you spend $1,000 in total. Now, if only 2 of those leads became booked jobs, your cost per booked job is now $500. That is the real number you need to look at. Because on paper, you might say, okay, $100 per lead, not terrible. But when only 2 jobs book, the real cost of getting booked work is much higher. Now, let's keep the exact same lead cost. Same 10 leads, same $100 per lead, same $1,000 spend, but this time 5 jobs book. Now your cost per book job is $200. Same platform, same lead cost, same spend, but a completely different result. That is why I care so much about what happens after the lead comes in. Because sometimes the win is not getting cheaper leads. Sometimes the win is converting more of the leads you already paid for. This is the part most owners miss. The lead cost did not change. The conversion changed. And that changed the whole result. So when someone says LSA is too expensive, I don't want to know the cost per lead. I want to know how many leads turned to jobs. I want to know how many calls were missed. I want to know how fast the team responded. I want to know what the follow-up looked like. Because 2 companies can pay the same per lead and get completely different outcomes. Not because one got magic leads, but because one handled those leads better. Here's a simple way to think about it. Cheap leads can still be expensive, and expensive leads can still be profitable. A cheap lead that never books is not cheap. It's wasted money. A more expensive lead that turns to a real job might actually be a better deal. So when you look at your LSA numbers, don't stop at the lead price. Ask what happened to the lead. Was it answered? Was it followed up? Did it book? Did it turn into the type of job your business actually wants? That's also very important. That is where the truth is. So what actually changes cost per booked job? A few things. Answer speed, how fast does someone respond when the lead comes in, missed call recovery, when the call is missed, does anyone call back quickly or send a text, follow up, does the business try once and stop, or is there a simple second step, reviews, does the company look trusted compared to competitors, job fit, are the leads for jobs you actually want, and close rate. Is the person handling the call turning real opportunities into booked work? These are not random details, okay? These are things that decide whether the lead becomes money or disappears. Before judging whether LSA is good or bad, ask these questions. How many leads came in? How many were actually answered? How many were followed up? How many booked? And what did each booked job cost? That gives you a much cleaner picture. Because without those answers, you might blame Google when the real problem is lead handling. Or you might think LSA is working because lead volume looks good, but the booked job numbers are weak. This is why tracking matters. Not complicated tracking, just enough to know what is actually happening. And for anyone who isn't sure what the real cost per book job is, that's exactly the kind of thing I look for in the free diagnostic. No passwords, no account access, just the obvious leaks and 2 quick wins. This is where a lot of profit hides. Not always in getting more leads, often in converting more of the leads you already paid for. Think about it. The lead already came in. You already paid for the opportunity. So if the business can answer faster, follow up better, recover missed calls, improve reviews, and track what actually booked, the same spend can produce a better result. That is a much smarter place to be than only asking for more volume. Because more leads are great when the system is ready. But when the system is leaking, more leads just create more waste. So the takeaway is simple. Don't only track cost per lead, track cost per book job. Cost per lead tells you what the opportunity costs. Cost per book job tells you what it costs to actually get work on the calendar. And once you know that number, your decisions get better. You can see if the problem is lead price, or response speed, or follow-up, or reviews, or tracking. That is how you stop guessing and start improving the system. When you know your real LSA number, it becomes much easier to decide what to fix. That is why I offer a free 30-minute diagnostic. No passwords, no account access, and it's not a sales call. I'll look for the obvious leaks in your LSA and lead handling process, show you 2 quick wins, and tell you what I would track first. Then, if working together makes sense, we can talk about it, and if not, you still leave with useful insights. The link will be in the description, and just remember, cost per lead is not the finish line. Booked jobs are.